have a disease called familial dilated cardiomyopathy in my family.
I have the methyl-tetrahydrofructase reductase genetic disorder, or MTHFR.
The name of my genetic disease is Fuchs dystrophy.
So we have familial dilated cardiomyopathy, which causes heart failure. It's when the left ventricle of the heart dilates and doesn't contract enough. And it's caused by a mutation on chromosome 10 in something called exon 4. And it's a gene that creates a protein called BAG3. This gene makes the heart more elastic and it makes it contract. My mom, and both of my brothers have about 50% of what a normal person would have because we don't inherit a healthy gene to create BAG3 from our mom.
My body has an issue with methylation where I can't process certain foods, and inflammation is a really big problem because my body doesn't methylate.
What Fuchs disease means is that my corneas are dying much faster than the rest of my body. And if you look into my eyes with instruments, you'll see that there's a cobblestone. It looks like a cobblestone street, and that's all the dead corneal cells. And eventually I'll go blind from it.
We've known for a long time, almost, let's say about 20 years, that it was a hereditary disease. We knew that because my cousin died and got sick. My cousin got sick in 1981 and then died in 1983. 5 years later, my brother, her first cousin, also got sick. They both had heart failure when they were really pretty young. It's called idiopathic when there's no known cause of disease. It wasn't like they smoked a lot or they were born with a heart defect. They were completely normal until they were 20 years old, and then all of a sudden they had heart failure. So when my brother got sick in 1989, or 1988 actually, I knew that we had a familial disease and a hereditary disease.
I had really bad eczema all over my body, and it was making me really insecure. So I went and got my blood tested, and it came up. They tested me for it, and they found out that I have the C677T version of it. There's like 5 different versions of it. That means that one of my chromosomes, you know how you have like the A, C, G, T, one of mine that's supposed to be a C is a T on the first chromosome.
And how did I know I got Fuchs dystrophy? I came out of work one night, made a left, and hit somebody. I saw a woman flying in the air, and I said, oh my God. And thank God I was going at 10 miles an hour. I got out of the car to help her, and she's like, what are you effing crazy? La la la. But that's how I found out I had the disease. And going to the best doctor has changed my life.
So my little brother's a college kid. It happened to all of us in college. So my little brother's 20 years old. He's in college. He finds out that there's something wrong with his heart. He felt like it was a death sentence, and it was kind of a death sentence. But then nothing ever happened. My mom, at that point, went in and got tested for her heart, and she found out that she also has an enlarged heart, and so does my aunt. Well, my mom's like a competitive tennis player. She's one of the healthiest, most active people I know. So when we started to realize, wait a minute, Mom's got this, and Jim has it, but he never got sick, then it started feeling not so scary anymore.
I was really upset. I kind of told my mom I wasn't going to do the dietary precautions for it, and I was just going to continue to live my life as normal. And then I realized I kind of had to do everything or I was going to get really sick. And I was really upset by it, but I kind of realized now it's not as big of a deal as I thought it would be.
Oh my gosh, it was, and then even when I found out, I was relieved, but then I was depressed, it's just a horrible diagnosis to know that you're gonna go blind and not be able to see.
And in a weird way, it's kind of empowering to think, even though I don't have anything wrong with me, I know something about my genes. There's something about that it's like getting this extra information. So in some ways I was more interested in the fact that I found out about it than anything else. But then I saw a doctor, and the doctor said, well, you really do have a problem. You have to take medication. And that I was not so cheerful about.
I can't eat folic acid is the number one thing I can't eat, but I also have to eliminate gluten from my diet and extremely limit dairy, which wasn't, like, the dairy wasn't as hard because I'm already a vegan, but gluten's pretty hard because that's no bread, no pretzels. I'm a lot healthier now, but it's hard because I can't really snack or do anything fun when people want to eat and have parties and stuff, so.
When I found out, like, I can't really read signs and I can't read how much things cost, so I stopped shopping and I sort of became a recluse. You know, and my husband even got me a dog. Him and my daughter said, "Oh, you need a dog." I'm like, "No, I don't need a dog." They said, "No, you need a dog." And I ended up getting out more in nature, which is really good. And it's affected my job. You know, now I'm not able to see a couple of things. I can only do certain things at my job. So it's limiting. You know, there's a tunnel you're going through and it's getting smaller and smaller.
For me, there are medications now that can mitigate the danger of lacking this protein, but I'm hoping long term, if I do have a problem, to participate in research in using gene therapy to actually make my heart express this protein.
Fuchs dystrophy is the number one reason people get corneal transplants. And the treatment for Fuchs is a corneal transplant. And as a matter of fact, I just had a corneal transplant in this eye on April 20th. So I'm able to see 20/50 in this eye about. It used to be 20/100. As a matter of fact, my surgeon had told me a couple of weeks before my surgery that you're not going to be able to pass the road test next time. So I was always afraid of eye surgery, but I said, okay, maybe I should not be afraid anymore and get the corneal transplant. And I'm glad I did.
I have to take 13 pills every morning for it, mostly probiotics and vitamins and dehistamines. But I also have to watch my diet and intake a lot of folate, which isn't folic acid. It's the natural version of it. So, like, I have to eat a lot of spinach and fruits and vegetables, and it's really just healthy diet, mostly.
The day of my surgery, my surgeon's coming in. He's putting his initials over this eye, so he operates on the right eye. Then he starts telling me, oh, you're going to get a needle in your eyeball and a needle here. I'm like, just, please just put me out. Do not, I wish I knew this beforehand so I wouldn't get hit with the information the day of the surgery. So I kind of would like to put it out there. I haven't really explored it yet, but that's a viable option for me.
I've been working on a documentary about it. So I'd say that very shortly after I learned, I started making this kind of a lifelong project. And it's a project that I'm doing with my mom. And I think our goal more than anything else is to come up with an hour-long documentary that we can share with our family members so they'll understand how we found a doctor to work with us and take information and how we've eventually worked our way into learning about our mutation.
I am creating a website for my senior inquiry project. It's a blog. I'm going to have posts. I'm going to have recipes for, like, what you can eat and, like, how your life can still be kind of normal. And I'm going to kind of share my story because I think it's important that people don't just hear it from a doctor, that they hear it from someone who knows what they're going through.
For a while, I was defined by my disease. Oh my God, look at this. You have Fuchs, you can't do anything. Now, I refuse to be defined by my disease. I will overcome everything. I go to Italy, I travel, I bring people with me so that they can read the signs, they can read the trains, and I get on and I do everything I want to do.
I bake a lot, which was like a gluten-free thing, became really hard, but I have a lot of fun with it because now I make all my stuff from scratch and give it to people, and it makes them really happy and me really happy. It's fun. And after a solid 25 minutes, these are how my MTHFR brownies came out.
I like genetic testing. I think that if I had genetic testing, I would have been prepared for what was to come, and it wouldn't have just hit me like a train. It's good for women who are pregnant. Like, my daughter's pregnant and she got genetic testing done. They do blood tests to see if there's any deformities in baby. So I love it. I love genetic testing. It's an eye into the future, and you can sort of plan ahead instead of being hit straight on, not knowing what's going on.
I think what information we can get now in a cost-efficient way is worth having. We all have mutations. We all have the potential for disease. We all have, we all have different characteristics that can cause problems. And if it involves participating in research and sharing our family history and sharing our biological information, our DNA, with scientists, I think go ahead and share.
Oh, definitely 100%. I mean, if all you have to do is either like spit in a tube or get some blood taken out of you and find out that you have something potentially really, really harmful, I don't see why you wouldn't do that. I think generally, yes. I mean, it's a little hypocritical for me to say because I wouldn't be here maybe if both my parents had gotten it done. But maybe when I was younger, we could have stopped me from ever eating gluten in the first place and I wouldn't have super bad eczema for my entire life.
Knowledge is power. I think that if you're ready to accept information that might be troubling, that maybe you have the BRCA gene, which can cause breast cancer, or you might have a mutation like what I have, I think it's worth knowing.
Remain active, get audiobooks, whatever you're doing, there's always, you can keep doing what you're doing. There just may be another format of doing it. I found that since my world is not visual anymore, I'm in an auditory world. I listen to nature. I do iTunes University. I do courses from Yale, like Dante in translation I'm doing, and I write to the professors and thank them. I get out in the world and I walk. I have a dog and I just walk every day and experience nature, and I come to my family's house, and I try and enjoy my life. Life's not over yet. I'm gonna go back. I've been to Italy 15 times. I think I want to make it 20 or 30 by the time I hit the grave.
Eat your fruits and veggies, kids. They're important, and you don't need pizza, as tempting as it may be. Just do everything you're supposed to do to take care of yourself, and you'll be fine.
I feel like there's a little man. He's about this big, and he's carrying a bucket. And in that bucket is a big load of shit. And the man walks like this. And there's a big fan. Oh, right over there. And the job of a man is to take that shit and throw it into the fan. And your job in life is to duck and make sure none of that hits you in the face. Sometimes it does hit you in the face, and what you must do is wipe your face off and keep going.